Do the wealthy provide their fair share? Billionaires' fortunes and business earnings have skyrocketed. Are they contributing their fair share? What billionaires and megacorporations pay in taxes, and what it means for the rest of us. Paying your fair share of taxes is important to fundamental justice. Is everyone following the same set of rules? Is our government equipped to provide the services on which we all rely, such as schools, roads, and firefighters? The necessity of equitable taxes has gained fresh urgency. As corporate profits and billionaire riches skyrocket, families struggle to make ends meet as our climate continues to deteriorate. We can either have democracy in this country or we can have great wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, but we can't have both, famously stated former United States Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis. So, step by step, we'll answer the question of whether billionaires and megacorporations pay their fair part, and what the rich paying their fair share would imply for something as lofty as abolishing poverty and injustice. Do billionaires contribute their fair share? Billionaires in the United States pay less tax than most teachers and retail workers. The richest among us wind up paying a lower percentage of their income to the federal government than most working families, thanks to a tax code that favors income from wealth over income from work and a host of tax avoidance methods. Here's what we know so far. Since 2020, the richest 1% have amassed over 2/3 of all new wealth. According to a White House report from 2021, the top 400 billionaire families in the United States paid an average federal individual tax rate of only 8.2%. In comparison, the average American taxpayer paid 13% in the same year. According to leaked tax returns uncovered by ProPublica, the 25 wealthiest Americans paid $13.6 billion in taxes from 2014 to 2018, a true tax rate of 3.4% on $401 billion in income. That is not contributing your fair share. Instead of rewarding wealth over labor, our tax system should guarantee that billionaires follow the same set of standards as the rest of us. It's excellent for the environment, and it's critical to the survival of our democracy. So, how much should they pay? Increased tax rates. The IRS code should increase individual tax rates on billionaires and equalize taxes on capital gains and labor income so that work is not taxed more than wealth. A fair wealth tax. Billionaires should pay a wealth tax, and we should address tax loopholes that allow the wealthy to hide profits in tax havens. In reality, taxation is a sign of legality and justice, Pope Francis stated. Do megacorporations provide their fair share? While large corporations made record profits in 2021, which will be covered in a future video about corporate profits and inflation, many continue to pay lower tax rates than regular working households. This is due in part to the fact that many people take advantage of favorable tax reductions and hide riches in tax havens around the world. Here's what we know so far. At least 55 of America's largest firms paid no federal corporate income taxes in 2020, according to the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. The U.S. government is projected to have lost roughly $135 billion in income in 2017 as a result of corporate tax evasion. In comparison, corporate giving has averaged less than $20 billion each year. In 2019, corporations diverted approximately $1 trillion in global earnings to tax havens, depriving governments around the world of sorely needed tax money. That is not contributing your fair share. Instead of maximizing profits for their overwhelmingly wealthy, white owners, firms should do more to help the employees, consumers, and community members on whom they rely. So, what should they pay and what should they do? To eliminate tax haven misuse and corporate profit offshoring, firms should pay the same tax rate on foreign profits as on home profits. And all large multinational corporations should pay a global minimum tax rate. Corporations should publish important financial data such as income, profits, and taxes paid on a country-by-country basis to end the opacity that surrounds corporate tax evasion. We want an economy that works for everyone, not just a small elite, stated Robert Reich, former U.S. Labor Secretary. What does the rich paying their fair share imply for the abolition of poverty and injustice? Taxing the wealthy would yield enormous benefits in terms of eradicating poverty and injustice. Fair taxes on America's billionaires and megacorporations could raise $252 billion in revenue per year, enough to lift people out of poverty. This kind of revenue would allow the United States to spend on programs such as climate protection. Building on climate investments in the Inflation Reduction Act, we could fund carbon-cutting tax credits for consumers and businesses, as well as promote the formation of a 21st-century civilian conservation corps, a jobs program to actively tackle the climate catastrophe. Remove children from poverty. Reintroducing the child tax credit could help more children escape poverty. In 2021, the credit will have reached more than 60 million children, reducing child poverty by 30%. We might also finance child nutrition waivers, which are used by 90% of U.S. schools to combat childhood hunger by giving free or reduced-price lunches to children in need. Stop the next pandemic. A $5 billion investment in global COVID healthcare initiatives would go a long way toward providing immunizations, diagnostics, and treatment globally. Unlike corporate tax avoidance, which only benefits a white, rich elite, all of these measures would bring significant benefits to workers, caregivers, and communities of color. It's past time for our country's billionaires and megacorporations pay their fair share of taxes to support the very people who have provided the labor that has allowed them to enjoy record profits and excess wealth, said Gina Cummings, Vice President of Advocacy, Alliances, and Policy at Oxfam America. In conclusion, when billionaires and companies manipulate the system in order to pay a lower percentage of taxes than the typical American taxpayer, they are not paying their fair part. Everyone should follow the same rules, and working families should not bear more than their fair share of the burden. We can assure that the rich help safeguard the planet, pull children out of poverty, and prevent the next pandemic by raising tax rates on the wealthiest Americans, taxing billionaire wealth, and ensuring businesses pay their fair amount. And it's critical to saving our democracy and addressing the world's most difficult crises. How do you feel about the percentage of taxes you pay on your income compared to the much lower rate that the rich and profitable corporations pay? Leave a comment down below. Take care and remember that your money matters.